What's going on, first grade? Mr. Hunter here with your history lesson for today. Now, I know we have done a lot of history this entire year, but some of the history we may have forgot about because we did it all the way back in September. September was a long time ago, and then we've had a lot happen since then. We've been home. So we're going to do a recap of some of the things that we've talked about before, but we're going to see what you remember and how much you remember, okay? We're also going to start introducing more of the states and telling you what those states meant. So if you hear something that you may have heard before, don't tell your mom, don't tell your dad and say, hey, I already did this. I don't need to watch this. This is important. This is a recap, because when you go into next year in second grade, you're going to be expected to learn this right off the bat. So we're going to refresh, recap. All right, everybody give me a thumbs up. You guys are ready? Okay, so today we are going to be talking about something that is very special. It's very special to us as Americans. It's very special to us as people who live in the United States. It is our flag. A flag is a symbol. Everybody say symbol. Okay. What does the symbol of the flag mean? What is the symbol? If you see that flag, what do you think? Well, I know if I see a flag anywhere I go, red, white, and blue, I see the stars, I think, oh, I'm reminded that I'm in America. I'm reminded in the United States. We see those flags everywhere we go, but guess what? There are people who visit the United States. There's people who don't live here. And when they come, it's really cool to them. They see the flag and it's like, wow, this is the place of the home and the brave, the land of the free. Americans, we live in a special place that a lot of other people like to come visit. There's so many great places in America and the United States to see, like here in Los Angeles. People love to come here for the weather. They want to come to see the beaches. They want to come to see Hollywood and the famous people and the stars. And we get to live here every day. What's another state that people like to go to? New York. New York is the biggest state that we have here. And people want to go there, see all the buildings, all the skyscrapers, see how busy it is. They want to take the subway and see the people talking, say I'm from New York. They walk really fast and they talk fast out in New York. People like to go to Washington, D.C. to see the White House. They want to see the Capitol, the monuments, all the museums. And so there's a lot of beautiful places that people want to see. And we're going to talk about that first, but we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about the symbols first of America. Okay, we have a flag everywhere. We have a flag in our classroom. Every classroom at our school has a flag. You may see flags when you go to the bank or you're just driving outside on the street, right? There's flags everywhere. What are some colors that our flag has? Is our flag green? Is it orange? You guys are looking at me like I'm crazy. The flag is red, white, and blue. And we've talked about this before, but we're going to see if we remember. I have it on my board. I don't know if you can tell there, but the white, what does the white in the flag represent? The white lines, the stars. The white represents purity. That's what they say. White represents purity. All right. Now we're looking at the red. There's a lot of red on our flag, with the red going down. The red means, everybody show me your muscles. The red means, it means strength. So you got a lot of strength. You're strong. You know what red also means? It means courage. Everybody say courage. Courage. Do you guys know what courage is? Dylan, Sam, Eliana, Jeremiah? Courage is when you have the ability to work, even though you may be afraid, even though you're fearful, you still go ahead anyway. The people that fought for our country in wars, they were scared. They were worried. They had to leave their families. They had to leave their children. They didn't know if they were going to be able to make it back. But guess what? They had courage to keep going, courage to go out and defend our country and our nation. And that's why we have so many freedoms today. All right. So we're going to talk about this. All right. Let's look on page number 10. All right. Symbols of America. Our vocabulary words. You always want to read your vocabulary words. So let's say the first one, government. Everybody say government. All right. Next one's everybody say purity. We talked about that, purity. We're going to hear that word again. Let's say building. Everybody say building. Then let's say allegiance. Oh, allegiance. What is allegiance? We're going to talk about that. Everybody say courage. Everybody say symbol. Symbol is a reminder. That's what it has there. A reminder. A symbol is a reminder. And then last but not least, show me your muscles again. You got to say strength. Everybody say strength. Strength. All right. So we're looking at this. We're going to start reading. On top of page 10, it says a symbol makes you think of something special. Everybody say that with me. A symbol makes you think of something special. Our flag is a great symbol of America. It is raised over every school and government building in our land. All right. Now, some things about a flag, right? Some things about a flag. A flag is very special. A flag is very special. So I'm going to read a couple things to you. There are a few ways that you need to respect the flag. The flag represents so much. It represents our country. They hang it on government buildings and our schools everywhere. But there's something you have to do to show respect to the flag. Number one, you have to keep the flag off the floor or off the ground. If you ever see a flag on the floor or the ground, pick it up. All right, you may have already done that before, but pick it up. Don't drag the flag on the ground. Remember when you guys were outside reading, doing our salutes? If I saw you with the flag too low, or you're hanging your head, or you're swinging it around, we don't play with the flag. Keep it off the ground. Number two, you should always keep the flag clean and undamaged. So it should be clean, undamaged. And if you put it on the floor, is it going to be clean or damaged? No. So that's why you got to keep it off the floor. So those two rules go together. All right. Number three, you should let it fly freely in the wind. So when you see the flags floating in the air and they're doing this back and forth, that's on purpose. We want the flag to swing like that. We want it to do that so everybody can see it. And then number four, you stand at attention when you pledge to the flag. All right, you stand at attention when you pledge to the flag. Okay, so that's something that we see there. Now, let's keep reading. It says, "My America's flag. This is the flag of my country." Isn't it beautiful? Whenever I see it, I feel so proud. I stand up straight and tall when I see my flag because I want others to know how much I love my country. My flag has 13 stripes. How many stripes? 13. All right. It has seven red, and 6 white. There is one stripe for each of the first 13 states. Wow. So there were only 13 states when we started. Does anybody know how many states we have now? We have 50 states, and we only started with 13. You know what, guys? Here are what the first 13 states were. And they weren't called states. They were called colonies. So we're going to go through Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Jeremiah, New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, New York, North Carolina, and Rhode Island. So those are the 13 first colonies, which actually became the first states. So if anybody asks you why we have 13 stripes, you can say because it represents the first 13 states of America. All right. The flag has 50 white stars on a field of blue, 1 star for each state of our country now. So we had 13 for the stripes because that's how many we started with. And now we have 50 stars because that's how many states we have now. All right. Let's look over on page number 11. This is what our flag looked like. This is what our flag looked like when our country first began. It only had 13 stars because there were only 13 states then. But now, this is what our flag looks like today. There are 50 stars, 1 for each of the 50 states. And each of the colors on the flag has a special meaning. The red, it stands for courage. We just went over that. And strength. The men who have fought to die for our country, America. So this represents for all those men who died for our country, the red. The white stands for purity. Our country is not perfect. How many know nobody's perfect, all right? Nobody's perfect. But it is still the best country in the world. We are thankful we live here. Just because we live in America, do we make fun of somebody else because they live somewhere else? No. We don't make fun of somebody because they live in a different country, but we are thankful that we live in America, right? All right. And then at the end, blue stands for truth. Everybody say truth. It's always the right time to tell the truth. Our flag, it says, my flag is a grand flag. Now, I'm going to do a little quick question for you. What is a symbol? Was anybody listening? What's a symbol? I'm waiting for you to answer. A symbol is something that makes you think of something that's special. So if I see a symbol, like a cross, what do I think of? I think of Jesus. I think of churches. Right? If I see a cross, I think of Jesus, I think of churches. That's what I think of. That's what a symbol is. When you see the flag, you think of America. You think of the United States of America. And that's a really good thing. All right. How many stripes are on our flag? 13. 13. You guys are right. All right. Now, what do they stand for? What do the 13 stripes mean? Oh, I have the answer behind me. They represent the first 13 colonies or states of the of America. And then how many stars are on our flag? 50. There are 50. And they are representing, one star represents one state. So we have 50 stars, 50 states. All right, now we know that red means courage and strength. We know that blue means truth, and we know white means purity. Our country is not perfect, but we still are thankful to live here in America, right? All right, let's turn the page. Let's turn the page. Now, there's something that we do every day. We haven't done it because we're on Zoom. We haven't done it because we're not at school, but it's called the Pledge of Allegiance, right? Allegiance. Every morning at school, it says on page 12, I stand, and we can say, we stand with our classes to pledge allegiance to the flag. And we need to stop and think about the words. So let's go through this, all right? It says, I pledge allegiance. Everybody hold your hand over your heart and say, I pledge allegiance. And when you say I pledge allegiance, this is what you mean. It means I promise to stand up and be true. So everybody say, I promise to stand up and be true. All right. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. So when you say to the flag of the United States of America, it says to my flag and to my country. Everybody say to my flag and to my country. All right. The next part, it says, and to the republic for which it stands. And to the republic for which it stands. This means, and to the people that this country was created for. So everybody say that. And to the people this country was created for. All right, the next part. One nation under God. You guys know that. That means one country blessed by God. Indivisible. That means we should not be divided. We should always be on the same page. You know how people argue back and forth? That shouldn't be us. We should always be able to agree. Even though we don't, we should work to try to do that. With liberty. Liberty means freedom. All right. And justice. Justice means and fairness. So when you say be just or justice, fair, justice was served, they mean that being fair. And then for all. That means for every person. Does that mean for just you, first graders? Does that mean for just me, Mr. Hunter? Does that mean for just Chinese, Asian people? Does that mean for just black people? Does it mean for just white people? No. Does it mean for only teachers and principals? No. What about just parents? No, it means for everybody. So the Pledge of Allegiance wasn't just written for one person. It wasn't just written for one person of color. It was written for everybody. So that's something I want you guys to remember. So remember, red means courage and strength. Blue means truth, and white means purity. We're not perfect, but we're trying to work as hard as we can to do what's right. And those are 13 colonies / 13 states. This has been your first review of your lesson on symbols and what the symbols of America are, our flag and our Pledge of Allegiance. Tomorrow, we're going to go a little bit deeper into more review. All right? I'll see you then.